Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I've just about calmed down after that United episode. It's now my brother's turn to erupt on Manchester City, gaffing a home game against Nottingham Forest in a title race that the opponents are pathetic, and they were pathetic themselves last night, but did get the 3 points. And at the end of the day, this is turning into a mathematical equation, which right now Arsenal are winning, Christian. Firstly, what was your immediate thoughts at full time last night?
My immediate thoughts were, this isn't a team, this isn't a group of players that wants to win a Premier League, because they're not playing like it. I think we're surviving on embers of the past, Alex. I think we're surviving on Bernardo, Rodri, and I'm not putting Haaland in that anymore, because he's got to prove to me, by the way, he is a character, because right now he ain't a fucking character. Bernardo, Rodri, you'd have to put Donnarumma in there as a real winner. And I think we're surviving on these embers, but the embers are burning out, and these players are coming to the end of their careers.
I like that.
We'll get into, the ins and outs of that, and we can speak about Rodri as well, who I think is now a real concern for Manchester City. But the way we were playing was hugely concerning. We were passing it round side to side, Alex. So the game started, and I was watching it with my old man, who's also a City fan, and I said to him, 10 minutes into City games this season, I can sort of tell you the map of the full 90. And I told him 10 minutes in, I was like, this is going to be problematic today. They don't look at it. The crowd was flat, which I'll give the players that, actually. The atmosphere last night was really bad. I'll stand up for City as and when I can. I can't justify that. It was terrible the first half. They woke up a little bit in the second due to probably sheer panic that they saw what was going on. But yeah, look, there is no excuse for these players to play this way, though. You are playing a struggling Forest side who can't buy anything at the moment. City, at times, we look bereft of ideas. The creativity was nothing. We were repetitive in what we were doing. We were so predictable, Alex. The only player that I thought was trying to muster up something was Bernardo Silva, who, shout out, I think since the turn of the year, we're relying on him to drag us a little bit, which... do you know what's concerning about this, Alex, is you're looking at these new breed of players. Bernardo ain't going to be there forever. I mean, Bernardo's not going to be there next season. He's leaving. He's going to LA or he's going to Benfica. You're looking for these new boys, and I'm looking like for the heir to the throne type of thing. We need one of these guys to step up. We were all hoping Foden. Let's have a discussion about Phil Foden. Alex, you've touched on this lad, and I protect him when I can and as much as I can. I'm struggling to right now. I'm running out of excuses. My excuse bank has ran completely dry with Phil because, do you know what? He's actually costing us in moments. Not only is he not creating things, I think he's becoming a bit of a liability on the pitch. I really do. I think his passing is sloppy. I think on the ball, when he does get it, and there was a moment yesterday, he's driving into space. This is where Phil Foden was ruthless. You want him on that left foot with that angle. You don't know whether he's going to whip it in the far corner or pick the crucial pass. I tell you what, Alex, he just wants to offload it to someone. He wants it to be someone else's problem. I don't know whether this is a complete confidence issue with him, which if it's that, that's even more worrying because this has been going on now for about 18 months. You can't have a confidence issue for approaching nearly 2 years, Alex.
The Euros.
The Euros was the start of it, and I just don't think he's recovered. We need to seriously look at what we're going to do. Another problem, Alex, we made big investments, obviously, to Tijani Reinders, who I know some people could think is a little bit harsh, and I do a little bit, maybe, that he's not getting minutes. I could see why he went Foden. We're playing Nottingham Forest. It's like, go out there, mate, show us what you can do. Put your flag back in the ground. To say he didn't do that is an understatement. Now, Tijani Reinders has had good numbers, but Pep clearly doesn't feel ready to trust him. You mentioned a guy when we were doing the United app, Alex, in Nico O'Reilly, who, by the way, shout out, has been my player of the season for Manchester City. Thought he's been spectacular in big games at left back. I thought he held it down incredible at the Emirates. He has done amazing, considering that's not even his position. Now he's getting moved further up the pitch into his preferred position. We've seen he's adding goals into his game, Alex. He's a physical presence in the box. His late runs are very impressive. And I think the way Haaland is playing, which we'll come on to, that has been crucial. And that extra strength in midfield, because just to do this in order, Alex, Rodri, we're at a point now, let's just end this, that we think we can run this back with Rodri and two offensive players next to him. Okay. Them days are gone, Alex. Not only could you not even go with, this is how far I think Rodri has regressed. since that injury. We couldn't roll it back with prime Gundogan next to him. I really don't think we could, because Gundogan was also very offensive. I think you now need someone that is very reliable. Nico O'Reilly, hopefully he can grow into that. I think he's shown signs that he can do it. And that's why we look better with him in there, because he's such a physical presence and his energy levels are ridiculous. So it does help us a lot. But I think we've got to end this now. And you're going to see this keep cropping up. Rodri cannot play with a Phil Foden and Cherky in the same team. You are seeing this yesterday. Cherky, I know, was stuck out wide. You're not going to get much tracking back from the guy. And Foden at the moment, like I say, even when he is tracking back and trying to work hard, he looks like a liability. He's getting brushed off it. He's misplacing passes. It isn't good. And then you're going further up the pitch, Alex. Let's talk about Erling Haaland. Because that guy at the moment is like a fucking ironing board up front. He is useless. Now, I don't really know what more I can say about him. His general effort has always been in the question, and I know pundits have always hammered him for it, and I've stood up for him. I'm not bothered if you're doing nothing for 80 minutes, but you're scoring a goal, you're getting that killer moment. I don't give a shit. Carry on doing it. Now, the moments have gone, and now you're standing there doing nothing, and we're playing with 10 men, mate. That is what we're getting. Yesterday, I think, was disgusting that a player in Marmouchi's not coming on. I actually feel sorry for the guy. I'm not Marmouchi's biggest fan, by the way, Alex, you know this. But I feel like if you've got a guy there on the bench and Haaland is playing that way for 90 minutes, and you're not even considering bringing him off just because he might do something. I could have told you after 15 minutes Haaland wasn't going to do anything. He's not been doing anything since the new year. He had one good goal against Fulham. The rest have been pens and hearsay moments. That's
just on that, Christian. Looking at his stats here, in his last 11 games, he's scored one goal in open play. This is where you fall into the best striker in the world category. City have got the cheat code. 11 games is a big sample size. Quarter of the season.
Well, Alex, that's Thiago form.
It's over. It's 30% of the season. It's unbelievable what is going on with Haaland. He's always been a start like an express, dip, then come back into his own the back end of the season.
It's not.
It's just not. I mean, like the thing is, and we'll touch on that. I think you made some great points. I'll try and give my thoughts on a few of them. Definitely agree with you on the Rodri, no doubt. I mean, I think that it's disrespectful from Pep to Premier League teams that he thinks he can do it, and he's cost this title. Look, right, I know what you're
Rodri as well post ACL.
I know what you're saying. You're going. We can't. It's not going to be. You're not going to remember this title. But I also think, you know what? These titles count, and I weirdly, the good ones when you're rolling and you win 3 in a row. Sometimes I have to properly think about it. And obviously it's getting a long time for me, actually, now. But with the one, I remembered the one where we were rubbish, like, quite clearly.
Yeah.
Do you get me? I remember games in the running. I remember going to Blackpool and being 2-0 down and Berbatov getting 2 goals to get a 3-2 win.
Yeah.
And we won it. And then we got to a Champions League final that year and we were rubbish. And then obviously Barcelona obliterated us. So in a way, I totally agree with you. You're not going to want to watch any of this back. But at the same time, it's that one that it actually, in hindsight, in July, when you're sat there watching the Euros and you think, fuck me, we're the Prem champions, it actually will feel sweeter than you think right now. Trust me.
Alex, it's a great point. And just let me say this, why it is a great point is because a lot of these players are fringe players and they're trying to take over from the greats we've had from the past. Now, a Premier League title could really kick some of these boys on. It makes you a winner by right.
Of course
so it will really help.
I mean, O'Reilly, like you said, I mean, if you win the league title this year, O'Reilly, like you said, he might win Player of the Season as it is at City. He's going to win Young Player of the Season in the Prem, and he's I mean, he's got a shot. He's gonna go on the plane to the World Cup. I mean, what a season it would be for him. If you don't win it, he's gonna have enjoyed himself, no doubt. But it's like you said, going into next season, you're a starter for the champions, and Arsenal are so poor. This is horrible to watch. Really, it's horrible to see. I'm just about a neutral because obviously I'm a United fan, but I am a neutral because I don't like Arsenal. It's really horrible to see them winning this the way they're playing, and I really dislike it. And seeing City slip up, and I'm looking at Haaland. I think Donnarumma's been exceptional, by the way, this season. And I think Mark Gay's come in. Props to you. You were poor last night, but I think he's been brilliant. Yeah. And I think Semenyo's come in and got the goals, and thank God he has for you because you've been. It's a bit like Sesko with us. If
Alex, without him, we'd be behind United.
Yeah, no, fair point.
Not
Haaland,
joking.
mate, you're on 500 grand a week. Like, I get that this contract is the dream contract. You've locked in the best striker in the world for 10 years. You can't go in. I'm sorry. There's players in world football that can't have a dip, and Haaland is not. He cannot have a dip. And is this a dip? He's got one open play goal in 11. He's awful form, Christian.
Yeah.
Is it attitude? I mean, what is your thoughts on Haaland? I mean, just before you go on this. The penalty incident, and by the way, I think there was, in my opinion, there was two. I think one definitely was. I don't know whether you agree with me, but I think it was the one where he was holder.
I know you well. You're going to say the holding one was
100% a pen, right?
I agree, by the way.
Now, the one-on-one one...
I think he's initiated that too much. I think, mate, Haaland's reaction says it all.
Great pass by Cherky, by the way, for the and obviously he is your whole offense as well. He's like your Bruno, isn't he? I mean, let's just call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
We've got similarities really, where we're leaning on Semenyo, we're leaning on Sesko, we've got Bruno, we've got Cherky, the rest are doing fuck all. Yeah. But the Haaland of old, I don't think he's thinking pen on that one-on-one. Don't get me wrong, it's a tough finish. He's got obviously the keeper on the
thinking dink, yeah.
He's thinking pen. He's trying. He wants the pen, and I'm watching it. And don't get me wrong, he could have got it right. And if it gets given, I'm leaning not because he puts his right leg into the goalkeeper, which in my opinion is like you said, initiating the contact is exactly. However, he did get hauled over, and how that's not a pen, I don't know. But it's more the mentality thing with that incident where it's like. Erling's looking for the pen. He wants the pen rather than the dink over the keeper. And if you take me out after, I don't give a shit. And that's my read on the situation with Haaland. The confidence is low.
I completely agree with everything you've just said. Haaland, look, if you go over this title race, now there's these moments, Alex, and you notice I didn't even bring up these decisions. Yes, I do agree with you. By the way, the where he's knocked it around the keeper's made contact with him. He's initiated it. Haaland was laughing after it. I don't think he wanted it. He wants it, but I think he was like, I've not got the goal to actually appeal for it because I've put my leg on his head. But the other one was the reason I brought this up, Alex, and same with Arsenal. They got away with that ridiculous holding one you sent me. I mean, he's not even looking at the ball. That is mental, right? But the reason I'm not moaning about these decisions, Alex, is because City have an inability to put teams away. We are a team that concede every week, but yet we rely on 1-goal leads going into the last 10 minutes. Now, you tell me what's going to happen week in, week out. I'll tell you what's going to happen. Chelsea, Brighton, Forest. The list could keep going on all season. This is because we're not fucking learning. And this is where Erling Haaland comes into the conversation. We are relying on him to put these teams to bed. And this guy has been asleep since the turn of the year. Well, even before then. He has been asleep for a long time.
Could have been Newcastle, your last game.
I just think, I am concerned now. I've kept saying to you and Pat and a few others, if Haaland comes back, he could easily end up with 30, and it's all kind of brushed under the carpet this period, and we just forget about it. I'm going to struggle to forget about it, even if somehow we do turn it round, which I don't think we will now, because we're relying on another slip up from Arsenal, and then we've got to beat them at the Etihad. We're playing them in a final as well. And we've got the tougher side of the Champions League draw. Yeah. We've got the giants on our side, Madrid, Bayern. They've got a fucking gimmies to the final, semi-final, whatever it is. So we are up against it. I don't think we're turning it round. And even if, this is the mad thing, Alex, and this is where it's disappointing. Because if an Arsenal fan was sat here and they go, I think you'll have a chance to turn it around because we'll drop points, I'd go, I agree with you. You will drop more points. But I don't have belief that my team can capitalise enough to actually get this over the line. I do actually think we've got a chance of beating them in a shootout at the Etihad. I think we probably will. I think Arteta will overthink it, and we will beat them. But I don't think it'll count for anything. I think they'll win it by a point, or they'll win it on goal difference, one or the other. I really do, because City will drop points again. We keep relying on this situation where we're going into the final 10 minutes with, let's be honest, a system that doesn't work if you're defending a 1-goal lead. Alex, think of the games we've won recently. Last minute, massive save from Donnarumma, Liverpool. Last minute, massive save from Donnarumma, Newcastle. Bailing us out the shit. Without Donnarumma, we would be, without doubt, in a top 4 race. And Semenyo, God, if you're including Donnarumma and Semenyo, you're talking fucking conference race. Because Haaland just isn't doing it.
It's surprising.
What's your thoughts, bro? I just want to talk to you about I know you're a fan of Phil Foden.
Let's go back to it. Obviously,
what do you think?
I digressed a little bit before dinner with the title talk. Look, I mean, I think obviously we were speaking off cam, weren't we, about Mainu as well, and obviously they've got similarities in that obviously one's younger than the other, but they're both from our academies that we value a lot, and we want the best for them, and we want them to be starters in this team. And I just think that on Foden, I think the Euros was strange, but you can find excuses for it, and we found them. But I think if you go do a little bit of a trip down memory lane, I know people dislike Southgate. Again, I've said it a few times. I think that's very harsh, but to be honest, after what he did do. And if you actually go back to that tournament, he did everything he could to get Foden playing in that tournament. And by the way, in the semis, I thought Foden was okay against Holland. I don't think he was bad. But in the final, where it's like we've got the PFA Player of the Season against Spain, he stuck Bellingham on the left, and Foden was the 10. And Mainu was shy in that final as well, coincidentally. But Foden, I was like, we've got Foden in the 10 in the final. Like, he could win it for us. Like, this is our Gaza. This is our Rooney. That's how highly I had. Not me. I mean, fuck me. He won Player of the Season in the Prem. Like, we're not used to having these conversations. Like, Rashford comes to mind. He never reached the heights of Foden. Rashford had a good season. Good.
And Rashford, technically, we knew what Rashford was. No disrespect to the guy, but we never thought he was at that level. Well, I didn't. I thought he's a player capable of putting a run together and getting a lot of goals. Of course
he is. He could shoot. Obviously, he's a streaky player. Foden had something you can hang your hat on. Ability, technique-wise, very much like a Spanish player, but not a La Liga player. He had the bite to him in the Prem, and he could hold his own. And now his body language, he looks thin. He looks like he wants to hide a little bit, and I don't get it, man. I mean, all I can think is, and I don't know, I don't know the answers here clearly, and neither do you, and only he could probably explain it. The only thing I can think of is that the pressure has ramped up every season. A name has left the club, and we could probably do it in years of going all the way back to Silva, David Silva, Aguero. And I think De Bruyne leaving, I think it came at the wrong time. I think De Bruyne's final game was the FA Cup final against Palace.
Yeah.
Phil Foden was benched for that game. And I think that's a very telling, almost preview of what we're watching this season, where it's like, he's losing De Bruyne, he's losing Batman, and it's like, but you're now not even Robin. And I think that's a very telling thing, where he was benched for the final. But it wasn't a preview of things to come where that's my position next year. It didn't feel like that against Palace. It felt like, fuck me, if De Bruyne did another year, he'd be benched again. And he is on the bench for Turkey.
You've made some great points, and I agree with a lot of what you've just said. I think Foden's just touching on, in order, the England things. So I think Foden he's been fairly criticised, at times for England. I think he also has been unfairly criticised as well. For instance, I don't think he was as bad as people said. I didn't think England, there wasn't many individuals that really lit it up. We did do well in the tournament, but it would be struggle to pinpoint. And I thought the 2022, if you actually watch Foden's highlights from that, when he was on the pitch, he actually played well. Wales game specifically, goal and an assist to Harry Kane. I thought he has looked good for England in moments, and people are overlooking other players. But there's another point I want to come to this with, Alex, with Foden. And I think Pep takes some heat on this situation. So when we had Foden coming through the ranks, it was a difficult time because we had a supremely talented squad, but we had a supremely talented youngster that Pep was like, he's not going on loan, he's learning from the best. Correct decision, by the way. You were vindicated. But I think we have messed about with this lad way too much. Well, not we, Pep in particular.
Okay.
Pep has had him as a right winger. He's had him as a left winger. Who, by the way, I think some of Foden's best, you'd have to say his best year, was obviously when he was more that central role and he got the PFA Player of the Season. Yeah. He did, when he was breaking through though, he was doing a great job on the right and the left wing for us. Pep has moved him to a false 9. He's played the 10. I think he's struggling now. Like you said, the big boys have gone and it's Foden's time to step up. I think Foden has a bit of a conflict of... It feels like he's over-complicating his own game and he's going away from what he's good at, or he's worrying about losing the ball. That's what it feels like. It feels like I'm watching a player playing within himself too much. Yesterday, mate,
Yeah.
he's getting the ball right. The players are backpedaling, going into their own box. He has space. On his left foot, he had the angle. I'm like, Foden, hit. That's all I want you to do. You've got that angle. You are a great shooter of the ball. We've seen this. You
Yeah.
wrapped up a PFA Player of the Season on this ability. Now hit it. No, he's looking up. He's scared. He wants to offload it. Give it someone else. It's like he's playing his game by numbers of pass completion. It's like he's scared to make a mistake. He needs to lose this inability. He's playing within himself. Foden, I have got all the belief in you, but I think you're lacking in your own self-belief. I don't know what it is. Has Pep lost belief in him, and that's why Foden's going down this route? I do think I think Foden will come back. I've got to be honest, I don't know whether it's going to be under Pep. I really don't.
I think you make a good point there about because Pep's always had amazing squads. It's never been like eye-opening to see a name on the bench. Sane's on the bench, or Mahrez on the bench, Aguero's on the bench. It's happened. He's had his boys who have never been dropped. Torre, Joe Hart, he binned straight away. He's come in and made big decisions to the point where you're numb to seeing City's bench. Oh my God, top player, top player, top player. But you don't know what that does psychologically to the players themselves, and I think Foden is affected by it, man. I mean,
you are right.
It's not just being on the bench. He's been unused subs at times. I'm saying unused. I'm
unused
talking
sub against Leeds. Terrible.
Unused sub against Leeds, and he's seen boys come in, and it's like Semenyo, for example, Cherky, for example, new signings, and they are being they haven't even tied their shoelaces, and they're being started. Get on that pitch now. We
Alex,
need you. You know,
I agree with you on them ones. I think Nico O'Reilly's the most damaging one because he's a fellow academy player. He's come through. Now, Nico O'Reilly, no one really would come to me and tell me Nico O'Reilly is more talented than Phil Foden. We were just having this conversation about another subject on your United vid. And, but sometimes you're looking at this and yes, he might not be as talented, but does he work for this team better? Yes. Does he work in this system better? Yes. Foden is struggling. He looks like a man drowning right now. And me personally, if we're going to play this way with this squad, I think Foden doesn't have a career in Manchester City's midfield unless you go and get one of the best CDMs in the world. And I mean, you trade Rodri for prime Rodri. And I don't think that's out there available in Europe right now, to be quite honest with you. So Foden, you make a great point, Alex. I think Foden is relying on when he can come in and players around him will be like, don't worry. Gundogan's like, don't worry, I've got this held down. Prime Rodri's like, don't worry, you do you, I've got this held down. Now, I think you're seeing the cracks, and Foden's like overcomplicating himself. He is playing. I mean, how many times I've seen Foden being caught deeper up the pitch, deeper down the other down our side of the pitch, and he's losing possession, sloppy passes. He doesn't look comfortable in them moments. I really think for the time being, if you are going to go. And also Cherky coming into the team, I think, has mentally really damaged him. City keep posting these warm-up videos that they're both great freestylers. I think it's damaging Foden more, to be honest. Just stop posting these fucking videos of him. I think it's showing him Cherky's the man for the middle at City. I think we all know that. Cherky is a better passer of the ball. Foden's passing has never really been his.
No.
Foden is very good in intricate spaces. He picks the ball up on the turn. Foden on the turn is one of the best I've seen in the world in them positions. But we're not even seeing him in them positions right now. Foden's now driving the ball. Foden's against Cherky in that position. Cherky has an eye for a pass. Foden doesn't really have that. I think if you're going to fit him into a system, for me, Foden goes further up the pitch. You give him the freedom. Stop putting too much pressure on this guy. I'd put him on the wing again. I would go right wing. I really would.
Yeah, I mean, also like playing in that central position and receiving it on the half turn. We know the all-time greats. That's what they are amazing at, and how it takes massive bollocks to play that position and play like that. You know, like you said, he's not a passer. He's not a Bruno who wants to face the play. You're receiving it with your back to goal. It's difficult, and then you got to transition out of a tackle immediately, and then you got 10 yards in front of you, and then you've got to find a pass or a shot. It's a very difficult role to play. I mean, the best players to do it are all-time greats, Kaká, Ronaldinho, Messi, like these players. It's very hard because you've got to have the confidence to receive it with three players around you all the time. And I think it's almost difficult for Foden to play that role with the way he is. I totally agree. Just before we wrap up, Christian, obviously you've got the 7-point league game in hand. Let's say you win it hypothetically, although it's not a given. Let's say 4-point lead, true maths at the moment, with 8 games to go. If say you were playing that tonight, you won it, it'd be 4 points, 4-point lead, 8 games to go with one game at the Etihad against Arsenal. Where are your thoughts with this? I assume if you don't beat them at the Etihad, it's completely done, in your opinion. If they even get a draw, it's just chalked.
Well, obviously that would be completely over at that point. But I think there's going to be problems before anyway. I think if you're looking at the games we've got left, you go into Stamford Bridge playing Chelsea,
and they're rolling.
They've looked quite good under Racine. For all we want to laugh at him with our Brent comparisons, they've looked a lot better and they look more of a solid side. I think we could go to Stamford Bridge and score? Do I think we could take the lead? Yeah. Do I think we can hold it? No. And that's the problem. This is where we're at. I don't think we score nowhere near enough goals, by the way. The fact that Arsenal, we have got the best striker in the world, and the fact that Arsenal have scored, I think they've scored the same goals as us. And
I think they've gone past you, bro.
Have they gone past us? Well, there we go then. If you're looking at that, I thought it was level, to be honest. But
I tell you
either way,
let's not end it on a lie. Let's fucking have a quick look, okay?
Either way, mate, it's a sounding stat. When you look at their front line, you have got players.
Sorry, you level. My bad. Yes.
Is it both 74?
No, you are 59 goals.
God. Yeah, that wouldn't have been bad, would it?
Goal difference. I mean, you mentioned goal difference as well. Look, we'll do it another day. It's just the performances were last night were too depressing to even get into where United and City are going to finish.
Do you know one thing, Alex? I would like to talk about, just going back to the Phil Foden thing, and I think we should do an episode on it because Phil Foden comes under a lot of fire for England, and is he on the plane? I tell you what, let's do a fucking episode on all of these cunts because. I don't know who's going on that plane. And Bukayo Saka, my friend, you're going on this list. Don't you be skipping that fucking star boy. You're going straight on the list. You've been shit for ages. Cole Palmer, another one. He stat pads his penalties and goes under the radar, but he's been injured a lot. His performances haven't impressed me. I think he ghosts in big games. Arsenal away.
Rubbish.
Where was he? Do you know what I mean? I think there's a lot of these players. Yeah. Morgan Rodgers. This England thing, we're blessed. How are we going to fit them all on the plane? I won't be putting any of them on it. You've got Morgan Rodgers, you've got Phil Foden, Cole Palmer, even Jude Bellingham hasn't been great this year, and he's been injured a lot.
We might just need a fighter jet to get them all over there. Never mind a jumbo.
Yeah.
Oh, look,
worth another rep, bro. But anyway, look, it's been a bit of therapy, my friend. Thank you for that. I feel even worse.
Any of our viewers that have watched this or the United one, firstly, thank you. And do you feel
Shout
better?
out Ryan as well for that big win against our kids' team.
Yeah. No, I know. I should have mentioned it on the other one if he's watched this. Yeah, shout out you, Ryan. Fantastic win. Deserved it. And like I said, part of me's glad because that bullshit, lucky shit that United were doing. Anyway, don't get me going again. I've just about calmed down. Right, Christian, thank you for joining me, mate. It's FA Cup weekend. I don't even know where back. Fuck me. We're having the Carrick's give us the week off. Carrick's give us the week off. They're going Nando's to celebrate with a load of carbs probably, and they're going to come back more.
They're all going New York, aren't they?
Yeah, man. Yeah, you get to Dubai, cock. You go and have a fucking 10 minutes. Cobby Bader and Casemiro. Fuck me. They need to get on an all-inclusive, them two. Fucking load up before the Villa game. Anyway, I'm off again. Fuck me. There's something wrong with me. Right. Christian, thank you, mate. Terrible midweek game. City have got Newcastle at the weekend. If by some miracle we do cross paths this weekend, maybe we could do a watch along, but that's subject to a few things happening. So we'll see. But if not, we'll be back on next week for some episodes. But let us know in the comments what you think of Manchester City and the title race. Thank you all for listening. Appreciate you all. See you in a bit.